Good evening and welcome to day 3 of the Go Live in 5 challenge. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Taiwo. I am a coach, trainer and a writer. I'm also the founder of The New 50, which is aimed at people who are approaching or at midlife and who are looking to reconnect with their passion, step out of their comfort zone so that they can make choices about the way they create the next chapter of their lives. And like I said, this is day 3 of the Go Live in 5 challenge, which I'm doing with the Boss It Live tribe, which is led by Janine Cummings. And each day we go live, each day for 5 days, and we are giving a topic that we need to talk about. And today's topic is: who was your inspiration as a child or growing up, and why? Now, most people that know me will know that my biggest inspiration, really my lifelong inspiration, has been my mother. And I'll tell you a little bit more about why in just one moment. I just want to ask that if you enjoy what it is that I have to say, then please do like and give some comments or even some emojis, just to kind of some emojis to give me a bit of encouragement when you come back and watch this, because most of you that will be watching this will be watching it on the replay. So please do let me know you are here and say hello. I see that people have viewed the videos, but I don't know who they are, and it'd be really nice for you to say a little hello to me or just a little thumbs up, just so that I know that you're there. So my childhood inspiration, my lifelong inspiration has been my mum, and she's my late mum. And very briefly, she was a nurse. She came here into the UK in the 50s, 1954, and in fact, 2 weeks after she arrived, at 22, she got the news that her father had passed away suddenly. So my grandfather died really young. I think he was younger than I am now. When he died, he had a heart condition, and he died. And my mum, she and my dad got married in 1958, and they had 5 children together. And my mum worked. I remember my mum worked all through my my childhood. She did, as I was growing up here. She worked. I'm a twin, so at one point she had 4 children, where my older brother's 4 years older than me. I had a twin brother, and then I've got a younger brother who has special needs. And the gap between the twins, me and my twin brother, and my younger brother is only 2 years. So she had quite young children that she was, and quite a challenging time, really. She didn't have the help that she would have had when she was, if she was in Nigeria, and she still managed to leave us all feeling very loved and cared for. And kind of moving forward, she always really, she never outrightly complained. I think because I was quite close to her, and I was the only girl around for quite a while, because my younger sister is 8 years younger than me. So my mother and I were quite close, and I think I intuited when things weren't going so great, although I never ever heard her as a child complaining to me about things. The reason that I think about my mum more now is less about my childhood, because she came, like I said, she came here and trained to be a nurse, but she always, I don't even remember her saying the words, but I always had an understanding that I was destined to do different things. I don't want to say better things, because I don't think that being a nurse is a bad thing, but I was destined to do different things, and that I had more options than she probably had when she was younger. Well, she definitely had when she was younger. You know, when she was married to my father, women weren't allowed to have mortgages, for instance. So I've definitely got different opportunities, and there's some areas in my life, like when I did my MBA and things, I wouldn't have got in my mum's time, but in this, you know, I have had lots of different opportunities. But I feel like she never ever really let that stop her, especially when she got into later on in life. So she retired as a nurse at age 60, but then went back and was working as an agency worker. She also lived partway between here and Nigeria because all her children were here, but she wanted to be in Nigeria, so she had to kind of balance that all out. And she's got 5 children. I mean, one's got special needs, but the rest of us, none of us have ever been to jail or got into major bits of trouble. We've all done quite well for ourselves, in that we have had careers, etc. And so when she got to her 60s, she sold up. She decided, she got to a point where she said, right, I'm spending more time in Nigeria. If you want to see me, you're going to have to come out more, which we did, especially my sister and myself. But she sold up, and she went back to Nigeria, but she didn't just go back to sit around. She went back to set up various businesses. She'd always had like a little business where when she came here on holiday, she would buy all sorts of things. But she got into the internet business when she sold up and had one of the earlier internet cafes in Lagos. So she got really in her 70s, 60s, late 60s and 70s. She really got into the internet and emailing, and just before she died at age 74, she was about to start to run classes to teach older people in Lagos how to use the internet, but she passed on. And when when members of the family talk about my mum, it's that kind of entrepreneurial, adventurous spirit, which I feel like I've got, and I think that she's really inspired me. And I think that it's partly to do with my mum that I've created the New 50, because the New 50 for me is about saying that that life, there's still more life. We're not getting ready to retire. We're not necessarily getting ready to die. That life really does actually begin, because we've got so many more options. And if you watched what I said yesterday about how we feel about ourselves once you get into midlife, or that once you've gone through the tensions and the pressures of trying to understand who you are, there is a greater confidence that moves you forward, and that with that confidence comes a freedom to be and do whatever you want to be or do. And I think I got that kind of sense from my mother, and that, as well as a real lack of condition and judgment about the choices that I made. I know that there were some choices that I made that she wasn't happy about, but she never tried to make me do something different. She would just let me be and make those choices, and obviously I had to live with some of those choices. But she, I just find when I think about her, and I think about various points in my life, and when I was in my 30s, I would think, oh my gosh, she had 4 children at this point. Oh, I can't do that. And and different milestones in my life. I think about what she had been doing, and when I am feeling a bit, that something's a little bit hard or whatever, I do think about her, and I think, well, you have it a little bit easier than she did, and her voice, the last words telling me to go out and get what it is that I want, which wasn't on her deathbed, it was just a couple of days before she died that she told me that. But her last words to me were to go out and make sure I get what I want. And so I always think about that when things are going tough. So that's me talking about my inspiration. I hope you found that inspiring, or at least interesting. And if you did find it interesting, then please, please, please do like this broadcast. I'm really getting to used to YouTube now, and I need to do some other things to get people coming on live. I see that it's not like Facebook or Periscope where people are waiting. So anyway, I'm going to sign off now. You've been watching me, Taiwo, on the New 50, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.